You were going to be on it. How you like those dulcet tones breaking us in on a episode 5 day? It is, what is today? What is today? Today's Tuesday, Wednesday? What is it? Wednesday, April 15th, 2026, in the year of our Lord. This is Regalwood Rasslin. I'm your host, your humble host, the overlord of the wasteland, the engineer of combat, the big boss with the hot sauce and the star. Well, not so much the star today. We got the real stars here today. And we're going to bring him on here directly. But welcome to Regalwood Rasslin. This is episode 5. Glad you're here. Glad you're in the chat rooms. They're all up and spinning. Let me just make sure of that before I do something crazy. Yeah, so what I'd like today, since we have a very, very, very special guest, if you're in that chat room, and I see several of you are, if you're in that chat room, if you have any questions or any comments you want to make to our guest today, shoot them in there, and I will get them to him and make sure that he sees and hears them and answers them appropriate, of course. But make sure you put that stuff in there if you want to. If you want to have anything to say to our very, very special guest, and I can't thank him enough. Of course, it's Brodie Chase, and we're so excited and happy to have him here. We're going to get to Brodie in just a few minutes, but first I want to do a little housekeeping, a little house cleaning here at Regalwood Rasslin. And let you know that we're doing some changes. We're doing some new additions. We're going to be maybe taking some things out, adding some things. It's a work in progress, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to make something entertaining, and I hope it entertains everybody. I've already kind of laid out over the last 4 episodes kind of what the reason is for this, and what the impetus is, and why we're doing it, and what the kind of the attitude of it is. And if you have missed any of that, all those episodes are hosted right there on the YouTube channel, which is, of course, Wrestle Radio 860, Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube, kind of the hub of all things Regal. When I tell you there's a ton of information, videos, interviews, shows, you name it, it's all right there on the YouTube channel, Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. Of course, we're also live right now on Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, and Kick. Twitch, of course, is Regalwood6969. Facebook is the Inside Wrestling Radio page on Facebook, or Ricky Regal, either or. And the Rumble and Kick pages are Regalwood, respectively. If you see this guy right here, see him? The big in shape bulldog with the singlet on, see him, and with the gold belt. Listen, he's rapping down the road a lot for that gold belt. And so show him some respect when he comes to a theater near you. All right. So, a couple of things. What are we doing here? We're changing up our game, and we're going to try to bring you more stuff from what's going on out there at some of these shows. Now, I've known Lace, and if those of you who don't know Lace has been around a long time. She is everybody knows Lace in the wrestling community, especially in this area. She's managed, she's announced, she's ring announced, she's done it all. And so Lace goes to all these shows, and I cannot get the shows because, as you all know, I'm a very important man, and I'm always flying hither or yon, and I don't like to be I can't be tied down in one space for too long of a period of time. So I got Lace, and I called Lace, and I said, hey, would you be interested in doing a ringside report? And at first she was a little hesitant. She was like, hey, you're asking too much. You're doing too much. But with my charm and my regal way, we talked her into it. And so Lace is going to be doing the ringside report. When she goes to shows, she's going to kind of give us some ideas of what's going on at your shows, right? All you independent guys, she's going to tell it like it is. She's going to talk about your crowd. She's going to talk about your production value. She's going to talk about your matches, of course, and other things that she sees while she's there from her perspective. So we appreciate Lace for doing that, and we're going to bring Lace in just a second to give us her first one, and we'll talk to her a little bit about what she has planned for her segment. Second thing, we also have in the works, and we haven't made anything official yet, but we have in the works, we're going to have another individual who some of you like, some of you don't like, who's going to be coming in, but maybe a monthly or bi-monthly little report. And he's going to come in and say what he has to say and give his opinion. And and we'll go with that as it runs. So that's upcoming. Like I said, we haven't reached a complete agreement yet, but we are hashing some things out, and we're going to get that going also in the future. I guess he'll be talking about local stuff. I told him he's got carte blanche. Whatever he wants to talk about, we'll talk about, or he'll be able to come on and say his piece. You remember those Jim Cornette segments? And I don't remember what they were called, but back in the Monday Night Wars, Cornette, right after Razor and all those cats left the WWF and went to Turner, Cornette would come on weekly and do like these shoots almost, right? It was unheard of back then because it was kind of like new, and people were like, what is this? Is this real? Is this whatever? So that's kind of the idea. And again, it's not I read somewhere today from some other page that I guess some of the wrestling is for everybody, one of those pages. This is not, we don't troll here. We're above all that. I look, okay, be above whatever. But facts are facts. And let me just say this. Just because the opinion is not popular or it's not shared with you, it's not your opinion, doesn't make it necessarily not true, right? We all have opinions, and I've said this time and time again. Everybody's got opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and of course, you all know what they say about opinions, right? But end of the day, just because you're saying something that may not be popular does not necessarily mean it's not true. We're about the truth here, right? If your show sucks, I have long since said you need to know that so you can do better. It's not to hurt you. It's not to break you down. It's to let you know, look, these are some areas of responsibility. And I and my guest today can frankly talk on those matters because we've promoted shows that were successful and drew money. Okay? And it didn't come out of my mouth the other week when Hazelwood said what he said about my shows. But the fact of the matter is my shows in Christmas every year drew more than some shows drew throughout the entire year. So say what you will about running one show or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Fact of the matter is, I have ran a successful promotion, and I know how to draw money. So yeah, that gives me a little bit of right to say what you should do to draw money in your show, right? But from what I'm hearing on the back end of that is there's some good things going on at most of these shows, and good production values and drawing big houses. So hey, that's what it's about, right? If we don't build it up from our level, then it ain't gonna build itself. So, and enough about that. Let's bring in the lovely and talented Lace. Hang on, just before I do that, I got to do one quick thing that I forgot about. We're going to move this out of the way here. All right. With all that said, welcome to the program, the lovely and talented Lace. Hello, Lace.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Just fine. Fine.
That's great. So listen, I was saying earlier in the intro there, appreciate you doing this. It's something that I was literally just driving down the road, and we were literally just driving down the road, and it came to my mind. I was like, you know what? She's been helping me kind of behind the scenes anyway. Let's give her a segment because you go to the shows, right? You actually get out here and you still hit shows. And so what better person to give a ringside report than you because you're at most of them. So tell me what your plan is for your segment there, and where you're going to be going and headed to in the future.
Well, I just decided to start dropping in at some of the shows, catching up, seeing what the local talent is, and seeing friends from years ago. But let's see, I went to 3 Count Wrestling on Saturday night, caught up with Bryce, and it was a great, I'd say almost every seat was sold and the crowd was really popping and into it.
So that's 3 Count. That's who's the promoter at 3 Count? I'm not familiar with
Tim
all the...
Smith.
Okay.
Tim Smith, Ace and Tim, they used to come for Friday nights at our shows or our amateur night.
Gotcha. So 3 Count, and they ran where exactly? Is that Greenville?
They ran this one on Tampa Street at First Calvary Baptist Church.
All right. So it's had a pretty good house. Their production value and all that stuff's pretty good?
They do good, really good. They have a great draw there. They have the Calvary Girls, which is a senior citizen group of girls that come every show.
Hey, I'm a senior citizen. I can get behind any. I can get behind that group, and right. But
them girls are hilarious. They tried to hit Michael Madden the other night, and it was priceless.
Oh, I said it was doing one of those fan attack deals.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff. Well, what else? What's your ideas for your segment? I know you don't go to every show, and I know you're not out there every weekend. I think you said you the next show you got coming up is what? Sometime. When's the next show you're going to?
Well, actually, I had forgot. I'm going Sunday to Pollywogs in Columbia for WrestleForce, so I can see Bob and Carrie Keller and update everybody on WrestleForce because I absolutely love Bob Keller. He's just hilarious.
Yeah, Bob and I have a good relationship as well, and I like Bob. He does a lot of interesting things. In fact, some people may know, some people may not. He actually was involved in the very final Christmas for Kids show. He brought the steel cage. First time ever the steel cage was brought to Lawrence, South Carolina. First time ever we had the cage there, and that was a big deal to me. Even though I wasn't in the match, it was a big deal to have that there, and to to leave that kind of lasting impression of that show with that kind of main event feel was a big deal. So I always appreciated Bob for that and for helping us out. So what else you got coming up? I know you're going to tell me about. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The next one I am going to try to make it to would be May the 15th. It's on a Friday night. Ronnie Gossett's UCW. He's scheduled to have Buff Bagwell, Arn Anderson's son Brock, and it's supposed to be a really good show at the Anderson Mall. So I'm going to go check it out. And see Ricky Morton and Carrie Morton, who are really good friends of mine, and check out the production of it. He's been doing some really good shows there.
So did that show get rescheduled? Wasn't it originally scheduled for another date?
The circus actually was already scheduled to be in town, but they decided to use the mall as part of a thing with the circus people thing.
So the circus came to the mall. Is that what happened?
I guess, yeah.
Circus came to the mall. I got you. Well, yeah, I got you. So, all right. So tell me about, you go to the gathering every year, and I'm interested in that because I know that's coming up. I've never been to the gathering, but I know a lot of people who have. Tell me about the gathering first of all, and tell me what you got planned for that when you go this year.
It's the highlight of my year. What are you talking about? I do meet and greets, hang out, talk to people. I think it's become more for me seeing all the wrestlers that came to Brodie and my shows and seeing my friends that I know from over those years, Franklin, Dove, Clay, Kyle. It's like we all have to go out of town to see each other.
Gotcha. So what? And that's in Charlotte. I'm thinking.
It's in Charlotte at the University of Charlotte. It's all in one building. We stay in a room there, and it's held downstairs. But what's so nice about it is most of the talent that's coming in and out hang out at the bar. You can always find Manny Fernandez sitting at the bar. You can always find several of them, and that's where they are. And it's like being up and close. It's not like going to some big show where you see them on Titantron. You're sitting there with Sam Houston. You're sitting there with Ricky Morton. You're sitting there with Manny Fernandez, who is cracking you up. And Magnum TA, he hangs out with us. It's so wonderful because of that.
Gotcha. So for those who don't know, what is there an admission price to get into that thing, or how does that work?
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, not for just in the hotel hanging out. They do have like VIP passes that include autographs of specific talent that's in and out, and they have it set up to where it's like an all access for pass, or you can go in the vendor room for a certain price. which is where High Spots and a lot of the wrestling related bring in their own talent to sign autographs. And there are prices for different things, but you can wander around and just enjoy yourself, and you never know who's going to be wandering around.
Well, it sounds like a good time. So
It's a blast.
Do they do matches and stuff? Like I've never been, so I've heard things.
Okay.
But
Wednesday, they just added Wednesdays. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are vendor room days where you go in, you can buy their products, you can buy the action figures, get autographs, you can kind of do a lot of things. And then on Friday night, they have the banquet night, which is where the purchases of tickets, you're sitting at a table. I can't remember who I sat with. It was one of the older wrestlers that walks the top ropes all the way around. And he was so wonderful, but it'd be a superstar and 8 or 9 paying for the big banquet supper. Saturday night is a full-on wrestling show.
Okay.
With almost any of the talent that's there.
Okay. Well, it sounds interesting. Like I said, I've again never been, but I've heard things, and so it's good to get a firsthand report from you. I hope that when you go this year, we'll get some live reports from you while you're there. Give us some, some feedback of what's going on, and maybe even get a quick hello with some of those people that are there that I'm sure.
Lodi.
Yeah.
Lodi's there. There's a bunch of them, but it's an adrenaline high for me from morning to night.
Well, that's sounds like a good time. So anybody who's interested in that, contact the lovely Lace on her Facebook page. Lacey as always, and I'm sure she can give you whatever details you need to be. Before we close your segment out this week, I just wanted you guys to know that I didn't know this until yesterday, and it about broke my heart when I saw it. But I understand James Jones Voodoo is having some health problems, and he has just popped into the chat over on the Facebook channel. So everybody say hello to James and send him some good thoughts, man, because
Voodoo.
That's a good guy, and I hate that he's having to deal with that. But God bless you, Voodoo, and like I said, he's in the Facebook chat room right now. So everybody send good thoughts and prayers to the Voodoo man.
Well, I spoke to him, and I got permission to tell you all. Yeah. Y'all know he'd been on the journey, and we went through chemo in the hospital. But the message he got on Tuesday was the cancer had spread to his liver, and it was fast growing. Now, he could not do treatments and maybe 6 months, but doing chemo and stuff, he's looking at 1 to 2 years. And actually, he's really upbeat. We laughed and we talked about what all we're going to try to do in whatever time. And he's going to go from that view of taking advantage of the time he's got.
Yeah. Well, God bless Buddha. He's always such a nice guy, and just always fun to be around. And maybe we can when we get Brodie on, he can tell us a good story about the Voodoo Man when we get to Brodie's segment. What else you got for me, Lace, before we end with you today? Anything you want to plug?
I do want to, most people that know Karen from NCW, she had a stroke last week, but she's recovering, but just keep her in your prayers too, as in these are people that were staples at shows we were at and working at.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly hate to hear bad news about any of our friends or anybody for that matter. And so God bless and all our thoughts and prayers to everybody who's dealing with it. Hey, Steve Carlton just popped in. SWAT! Everybody knows SWAT!
SWAT! I haven't heard that in 15 or 20 years or more.
SWAT just popped into the Facebook chat. So welcome him and good to see him too. He says what's up to everybody. So man, I tell you, I'll just say this before we end up with you here. It's you get out of this thing for a while, and I'm sure Brodie will have some thoughts on this when I get him in. You get out away from this thing for a while, and you kind of put some separation in it. But then when you start reconnecting with people, it kind of like, okay, I kind of remember having some fun with that stuff, and it's been a blast for me. And I'm 100% shooting here. It's been a blast for me to catch up with some old friends, to talk to Jeff Lewis or Neil Koloff again, and to talk to Brodie yesterday for an hour. We spent on the phone together and just catching up and reminiscing. And you, of course, Lace, we stay in touch, and Kim and Wanda and all the people, Cruiser, of course, and now Steve and James. It's just cool to see you guys and to catch up with you. And I'm glad you're joining me on this journey as we build this podcast, and hopefully it'll reach bigger and better things. Lace, anything
that's
else?
What we talked about is getting to. There's been so much bad stuff that by you doing this, we're getting to go back and see the people and catch up with those from the times we were young, dumb, and didn't have a care in the world.
Ain't that the truth? ain't it the truth? Them years took a lot of the later years off of my life. I guarantee you that. But
me too.
But anyway, all right, Lace. Thank you so much for the first episode of your Ringside Report. There, just kind of a primer to give you guys an idea of what's to come with Lace. And and if you have any results you want to send to Lace, you got an email address or a place online that you'd like for people to send you any kind of Ringside Reports information?
And they can message me on Messenger if they want.
Okay, what's that? Lacey, as always, on Facebook?
No, most of them are friends on my personal page, Lacey Gwen.
Okay. All right. So if you have any Ringside Reports or any upcoming shows that you want to plug, I'm an equal opportunity plugger. I think everybody should get a plug. So even if you don't like me or don't like what we do here, doesn't matter. Send me your date on your show, and we'll plug you and get that out to the world as well. Lace, thank you so much for doing this. I look forward to your upcoming reports. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go in and get Brodie ready to come on. And when we come back in about a minute or so, we will be live right here on Regalwood Rasslin with the legendary Brodie Ray Chase. Stand by. That is coming up next. All right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin for the episode number 5. We just had Lacey come in with her Ringside report, and we're happy to have that segment going. I look forward to big things coming from that in the future. My guest, let's get to this. I've been every conversation I have with anybody who's been around here for a while or knows anything about this area or even this region, this guy's name comes up. His name always, without fail, comes up. And I will tell you that for a long time, we lost contact. Of course, I lost contact with a lot of people because, again, moved away from this thing for a while. But a lot of people were saying the same thing. Where's Brodie? What's going on with Brodie? So on a whim and with a little help from Lace, I reached out and honestly, I told him yesterday, surprised he hit me back, but he did, and it was great to talk to him again. We talked yesterday, and I told him this on the phone. We talked for over an hour yesterday, and it seemed like we only talked 10 minutes. It was astonishing. It was like we picked up where we left off all those years ago. So without further me yakking my jaws, friends, welcome to this program, and it's my great pleasure and honor to bring to the program the stray cat, Brodie Ray Chase. Brodie, welcome. Welcome, sir. Thank you for doing this. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, man. It means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful for you for doing it. You didn't have to, of course, and when you said you'd be interested, man, that was great news to me, and I'm super glad that you did it. So we're going to get into a lot of things, but I want to start off first off with how in the hell have you been? I mean, how are you? What's going on with you? What's been going on with you?
I've been all right. I got injured at Costco in the tire department, and when you're trying to sneak around and pocket tires, it's so hard. Then you trip on them, and the next thing you know, you're laying there with a broken neck. It seems like and hospitals are there, then the police, and it's just a whole thing. But it was all a mistake. They were just
they were set up.
Yeah. When I tell a story, you have to remember that I go around the world and then I'll come back to it before we end. Yeah. Like I finished a story with you today that we started yesterday. Yeah. I don't forget. I just get off on it. My whole life seems like it's branches. They fork off.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. But like I said in your intro there, Brodie, your name constantly comes up. Let me get that band. Cut that out, band. There we go. Got the band on pause there. Your name always comes up, man. And you said something to me that I was like, there's no way that you can believe that. But you said something to the effect of about what did you say? 6 months they forget about you. Well, yeah. Well, not you, my friend. And all these people in the chat room that are saying hello to you, and Koloff calling you his sensei, and people in the chat saying you never age. You just you're doing your thing and happy to see you. Nobody's forgot the stray cat, man. So I'm just happy that you're still out here and you're still around. But what have you been up to? I mean, you walked away from this thing, and unlike a lot of people, you stayed away. So what have you been doing with yourself?
Well, fiddling. I read a lot. I do a lot of things. I'm just not into wrestling. I try to catch Austin when he's on, Xavier Woods, but he hadn't been on lately, so he would text me and tell me if he was on or not, and I'd watch it. And then I did go about 3 years ago, I guess. He called me and asked if I'd want to go to, I don't remember if it was SmackDown or Raw, but it was Raw at the Well. And I said, yeah, and we went. And I had a good time with that. But then when it was over, I didn't want to go no more,
Yeah. Well, I was yesterday when we were talking on the phone, man, I noticed James Jones says it's good to see you. I
love you.
Say it again, Brodie.
I love you, James. I'm sorry you're having such a hard time.
Ashley Brooke Dorsey just pops in. It's Brodie. So I say again, man.
Hey.
I mean, it's a big deal, and it's a big deal to me to have you on here. You said something.
Well, like I told you though,
go ahead.
back in the day when we was wrestling around here all the time, or was part of shows or whatever, people would stop me in the grocery, stop me in the Walmart, and stop me anywhere. Aren't you Brodie Chase? And I'd go, no. Oh, you know, yeah, it's me. But you don't get that after you quit. 6 months after you're gone, nobody knows you. You pass by, and women that would chase you just wouldn't even look. Keep on going.
So let's go back before we get before we go forward. Let's go back a little bit. When you first got in, you were doing television stuff for the NWA, and that's where I first became to know of Brodie Chase. And how did you get that gig? How did it become a thing where you actually were up doing some work for the NWA back in the day?
I did one outlaw show for Horace Strickland when I got trained, and I thought, man, I'm gonna get hooked up with all these shows. And I said, how do I get booked? Well, you go to shows and tell them what. So then he gave me Horace's name, told me to go see Horace Strickland. So I go see Horace Strickland. I was not impressed, but he invited me to a show, and I thought, well, it's a good place to start, I guess. So I did one independent show, and then my second show was with Nikita Koloff. So Neil Koloff,
yep, he's in there.
I don't know if he was born yet, but my second match was his, and I didn't realize I was probably his second match.
Yeah.
Started in the same year at the same time, and until I saw your show the other day, I didn't realize that he didn't have training, and just all those guys out of that gym at the time, Sting, all of them, big muscle guys, they didn't really have to go through training. They were just gifted in. Hawk and Animal didn't go through training, but when they went for Vern Gagne's show, he tried to get Crusher and Bruiser to lighten them up a little bit, tell them how it is, and they just beat the crap out of all them guys,
Yeah.
And everybody was scared of them.
So when you first got in, I mean, how did that work back then? Because as we all know, I mean, the business has changed dramatically, even in just the last 10 years. So we're going back some years when you broke in. How did that work back then? I mean, did you really literally just show up and say, "Hey, I want a job," or how did it work?
Well, you remember the Mod Squad, Jimmy and Mac Jefferson, Anderson?
Yep.
They were working on WCW's Enhancement Talent. Well, at the time it was NWA, and they were Enhancement Talent. And we got to talking, and we were doing a match. And he was, back then when you were training, you would do a real match without stopping, just trying to keep it going. It's so hard without a crowd. Yeah. But he never said stay down or this is the finish or anything like that. So I kept kicking out. Everything he did, I was kicking out. And then finally we started laughing, just sitting in the middle of the ring. He said, "You just not going to give up, are you?" I said, "No." Yeah. Am I supposed to? Yeah. What's going on here? I never lost a fight in my life. Yeah. So he said, "Listen, you want to go down and do TV?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, there's a guy out of Alabama, Mike. God, I can't remember Mike's last name. I think he still works, but skinny guy, had a singlet and did the high flying head scissors and stuff. Mike Jackson." Okay. And Mike Jackson would get a piece of your money, but he would get you booked in. Okay. So that's how it started. And then I'm in there one day, and Bobby Eaton and Jim Cornette was sitting there talking to me. And Bobby said, "Where you from?" I said, "I live in Greenville, South Carolina." He said, "South Carolina?" He said, "I thought you was one of them Alabama boys." I said, "No." I said, "I've been to Alabama a couple times. I don't live there." And he got up right then, went and talked to somebody, and they came in and talked to me. And then the next thing I know, I was booked through them. Dylan would call me himself and book me for the shows. And that little missing money all of a sudden started showing up in my check. Yeah. It was great. And so once they found out I was a Carolina guy, because they were stationed and centered in Charlotte. Right. Rocket Promotions, and they booked me out of there.
Well, I tell you, I was looking at some of your stuff. You and I, and we'll talk about it a little bit as we move on. But you and I were talking about the time when you went up to the WWF and did the Heat show. And as I was looking for that, I found a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff up there of you from those NWA shots. And there was one where you was in the ring with Flair, and I mean, it was just phenomenal. I mean, you were young. I mean, was it nerve-wracking to be in the ring with those already established legends back then, or was it just a day at work, or how'd it go?
Well, let me tell you, they had these dressing rooms, you know, and they'd call us all together in the center of the hall, and Dylan would go over who had whose match at what time it was, at which segment it was on, and you got paid for being there, whether you had a match or not, and you got paid if you did 2 matches or you got booked that night at the Omni. So we standing there, and he's naming off everybody. And he said, and for the final match of the evening, I'm thinking, man, I'm going to get paid and I don't have to work, you know.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
He said, asked for specifically by the Nature Boy Ric Flair is Brodie Chase.
Wow.
And I was stunned because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm 6 months in.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled. Now, I don't know if he'll remember this or not, but I stepped up to him and said, what you want me to use, JJ? My ass? You want me to look up at the lights? And everybody laughed. Thought that was funny as hell, you know.
Yeah.
But Nikita didn't. Nikita side-eyed me, you know, kind of looked. And then the next thing I know, Flair comes and gets me. Takes me out in the hall, and he says, lock up with me. And I locked up light,
Yeah.
you know, ready to move to the next thing. And he said, no. He said, lock up. Then the next thing I know, he starts slapping me in my shoulders, locking up so hard, I thought he could break my collarbone.
Wow.
I mean, it was unbelievable. So I start locking up like a bull.
Yeah.
He said, that's good. He said, that's the way you lock up with me. I said, okay, you got it.
Yeah.
And then when we had the match, he lit into me. He started chopping me and beating the crap out of me. I'm thinking, this might not be as good as I thought it was, you know.
Right.
If he lays me down, I ain't kicking out, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he brought blood.
Yeah.
There was like 5 or 6 workers back in time. Ronnie Garvin, Wahoo McDaniel, Flair. They would bring blood when they chopped you.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was a big
Ronnie
deal.
Garvin with the hands of stone.
Hands of stone, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And he wasn't that big. But Voodoo had the hands of concrete.
Yeah.
They were like sandpaper coated stone. When he chopped you, boy, you knew it, you know. But it was fun. My favorite ones to work with was the Rock and Roll Express or Midnight Express. They were great. And then I got booked on some shows, regular house shows, and I got put over in a few shows. And I thought, man, that's great. They like me, and it's gonna get better. And man, my job got mad at me. I was taking too many days off on Saturday. And I had to slack off a little bit. And then my father died. And that put a kibosh on me for about a month. And then when I came back, I missed a couple of spots that would have been very good for me had I shown up.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, the road takes us where it takes us. But how long did you work up there with them, especially with the TV stuff? Because I know you started off and you could tell over the time. I saw several matches popped up there, but there in the later years, I mean, you had the whole singlet look and with the long tights and the boots and all that, and the long hair. Which you started, it was all kind of like just trunks and boots. How long were you there, and how much time did you spend up there?
Well, the funny thing is the reason you wore trunks and boots, I didn't know at the time, but I got this really cool outfit, put it together, you know, and it looked good. Then I got this lady that made outfits for the Ice Capades, and man, she made me the bomb outfit, you know. So I wore it one night, and Rick Rude walks by me and stops. He turns around and says, where'd you get those tights? I said, this lady at the Ice Capades made them for me. He said, did you check with somebody about wearing them? No. Should I? He said, well, you should have talked to me. These look like something I would wear.
Oh.
I said, you want me to take them off? You know? He said, no, wear what you want to. And I did. Yeah. So I wore them. But he wasn't that friendly with me no more after that. So you kind of, then all of a sudden, everybody blossomed with these cool outfits. Mm-hmm. At the time, you only had Adrian Street's wife.
Yeah.
And Ken Tim's wife, Juanita, who, and if you went to her house for her to make you gear, she would be breastfeeding one of her 17 kids right there while she's pulling material out. What do you like, hon? You know what I mean? Let me get your measurements here. Whoa, easy, you know. Why you got to tape measure there? And I turned red. She'd say, "Why are you turning red?" I said, you know, I don't see breastfeeding every day. You know?
Yeah, right. It's funny you brought up the Adrian Street. I remember, and I told this story a couple of weeks ago, that when we first broke in, we didn't know anything about buying gear, because when they didn't, when I tell you they didn't smarten you up, especially us coming the way we came up, for a long time, they didn't, because we didn't even know where to get gear. You know, we ended up with our first matches. We were out there in Walmart leggings and wrestling shoes, amateur wrestling shoes. Yeah. And I remember there was only later. We ended up finding out that there was only like a one place back then that sold boots, in the B-Bar A. You remember B-Bar A? You know, and then it was even after that we found out about Adrian Street as doing that, and we got somehow. I'll never forget it. We got his number, and we're going to call and get some gear made, and we called his. I guess it was his shopper, his business number, and he answers the phone. Hello. Yeah. Hello? Yeah. And not wrestling gear or anything like that. Hello. And I just remember Mickey was with me when we called, Mickey Free, and he went around, I remember him walking around for weeks after that, just hello. Hello. Just for funny to us for some reason.
Does that.
Yeah. It was just funny. But
he made this flyer, and it was like 5 or 6 pages turned sideways with staples in the middle.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And he had pictures of outfits, hand-drawn singlets and stuff.
They were drawn, yeah.
Yes. And he would give them to you, or you could write him, and he would mail you the newest one, which was the exact same one you got the first time. And that a lot of people don't know this, but there was a time when there was no interweb.
Yes.
It was.
That's right.
It was who you knew.
Right. That's exactly.
And you had to call them from a landline with a 20-foot cord so you could get to where you could talk by yourself. You know.
Yeah. It was
not like today.
It was all word of mouth, and that's so interesting that you said that, because you had to fight. It was like going on and that's why the business has changed so dramatically from then to now, because right now everything's just given to you. It's all handed. Open up your browser and it's all laid out for you. But back then it was really like a secret society. I mean, it was harder to get into than the Masons or whatever.
And you didn't get a ring.
Right.
Right. You do the handshake.
Exactly. I mean, and it's funny you said, because finding gear, it was all like a treasure hunt, and you would get this number, whispers in the back of the locker room. Well, call this guy, and just being able to find gear. So for it to be and that's why it's always just shocking to me how much has changed over the years, which I know things changes and time marches on. I understand that, but I don't think that some of the people who are around now, I think they missed out on that. What we kind of was, the way we were brought in, because it really was like you were entering into a secret society. Then you were learning all these other worlds that existed, and it was magical almost, Yeah,
it was a lot like you'd see these old movie scenes or something where this guy's standing in a back alley with a little pencil mustache with a coat, and he would open my kid, need some, you're right here. Shh, don't tell nobody. Come here. I don't want to go down there.
Yeah, I don't know what you got going on over there, sir.
Don't take nothing else off.
Brodie, real quick, Steve Chronic is in the chat. He's saying hello.
Hey.
Like I said, SWAT's in there. Ashley Brooks. Just that everybody's coming in to say hello, and just happy to see you out here and just doing this thing.
I don't know if all you guys know it or not, but anybody that I worked with that came to our shows, and a lot of people know it, we did 156 shows a year. If you count the hardcore night, the family night, and the amateur night.
Yeah.
And I appreciate every one of you that came and helped. I really do. And if it hadn't been for 9/11, we got off to a great start at that building. And then 9/11 kind of hurt us. Everybody's afraid to go out because if you're in a crowd more than 100, they were afraid somebody would drop a bomb on you or something.
Yeah.
And people was afraid to go anywhere. Everybody was going to church. That was it. You know?
Yeah. No, it's true. But so, and I want to get to the WWC stuff and all of that. Before we move into that, when you finally were done with the NWA, you went into straight doing indies, or did you still run back and forth a little bit and do maybe dark matches? How did it come to an end with the NWA stuff?
Well, it didn't really come to an end. It was there, but I don't know if you remember Bill Wilkins and Ronnie Bishop. They started PWA, and they came to me and said, "We'd love you to be the booker and be in charge of the company." And that was in '89, so I had maybe 4 years into business.
Yeah.
And I really didn't understand it like I do now.
Yeah.
I really didn't understand it very well until I started training people.
Yeah.
And for a fact, like if we had 10 people there, 12 people, I gave and took the first arm drags from everybody.
Yeah.
You had to stand 3 deep in a corner. You had to take your bump, and you had to get up and get out of the way because I was going to the next guy. And it was just boom, 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 boom. You didn't get out of the way, you got hit with a boot, And we wasn't there to sell. We was there to take the bump, learn how to take the arm drag. Then you learn how to give the arm drag. And we did that with every single bump and move, clothesline, back elbow, off the top ropes, everything. We did like that.
Was that PW? Was that the one that was in Spartanburg?
Well, we did shows in Spartanburg. We did it at the bingo house there.
Yeah, right off the interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did bingo in Union, and we did a couple shows at the Memorial Auditorium before they tore it down.
I remember the things I remember about that PWA was that's where we met Goat and his partner.
Yeah.
What were they? Delta Force? Is that what I remember? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Delta Force. That's where we met
Goat. Little one that was with them.
Yes.
And they all dressed in fatigues.
Yeah. I had the fatigues on and the Delta Force and Goat there, and I remember them doing an off the top rope, double suplex, and you didn't see that stuff in indies back then, bro. And I just remember seeing that at that show, and that blew me away. And all the other thing I remember about that place was that big gold belt they had with the guy with the double bicep pose. That was a beautiful.
I designed that.
Did you? I mean, that belt was insane. I wonder about stuff like that. Where would that thing be today? Because that was a beautiful belt.
$4,000.
Yeah, every bit of it. It looked like a legitimate, trophy. It was real.
It was the best looking belt I ever seen, except for the WWE belt with that The Rock had, Steve Austin had with the eagle.
The eagle, yeah.
That's my all-time favorite one, but I love that belt. And Bill Wilkins had it, and I believe when he passed away, Ronnie Bishop got it. But Bill always told me it was mine when he was gone. But if you don't tell your family or write it down,
You're right.
So
Cruiser Lewis pipes in and says it was Randy Brown and Marvin Brock. They were the
That's right. That's exactly right.
So
and Cruiser will know this.
Yeah.
I loved Goat to death.
Yes.
And I working Cruiser one night, and there was no way that this 150-pound kid could beat Cruiser. There's just no way.
Yeah.
So he said, "Bro, I need to talk to you tonight. It's my last night. I don't want to tell you this, but I got cancer, and I'm going to die." I said, "Damn, buddy, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do to help? Do you need?" No, I was hoping you'd let me win this match. I said, "Goat, love you to death, but you can't be a cruiser. I mean,
sorry about your
you
damn
gotta
luck.
be believable. I love you to death, and I'm sorry you have, but you can't be cruiser. I mean, cruiser's a big. I'm going to work cruiser in a month. You know, he's got to be built up, and he got mad. Then come to find out, he's still alive today.
Still alive to this day. He sure is.
He was playing. I caught him playing softball. Me and Mickey caught him playing softball one day, and I hollered at him, "Hey, Goat, how you doing? Hey, Brodie." I said, "Are you dead yet?" You know.
I saw Goat right after Jim Lewis passed away. Goat was somehow he was connected with that venue up in Simpsonville, that they do the concert and stuff at, and somehow he was connected with that. And we actually did a little get together for some of the local folks there, and Goat was at that, and I hadn't seen, but he looked exactly the same.
Yeah,
spoke exactly the same. Like no time had passed, since we had seen him, all those years ago. So yeah,
he's probably still 150 pounds. Yeah, and looks like he's 17 years old.
Looked exactly the same. Hadn't put on an ounce. So moving forward, what happened after that PWA? Where'd we go after that?
I got a job at Hitachi.
Yeah,
the big picture tube plant before it just. And I worked there. I was a back-end manager. I had like 500 employees under me. So I was making good, but I had to be available 24 hours a day. It was insane.
Yeah.
And everything was going great. They took us to this real nice Japanese restaurant on Congaree Road. Had a big iron gate in front of it. And it was, $150 a plate.
Yep.
In 1995, 96, something like that. And we went, and everybody was excited. All the managers and supervisors, plant manager, everybody went, and a lot of the Japanese. And they had a meeting with us. And then after it was over, the head guy from Japan stood up, and he said, "We've decided that we know how to beat Sony in the television business." And I'm all excited. We're going to beat Sony. That was our number one competition. Sony made the best picture tubes in the world.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yep. They're going digital, and we're going to stay analog."
Forward thinking.
And I'm thinking, I have seen digital screens, and you cannot stay analog. Because I could pick up a 30-inch digital screen and carry it with one hand, but it takes two people to carry a 32-inch TV up the steps.
Exactly.
They were so big, heavy, and dangerous. If they would implode, they wouldn't explode. They would implode. But why everybody thought it exploded is when you implode, it goes in and then shoots everything back out.
Yeah.
And it was super dangerous. People died. I mean, cut to pieces.
Oh, my God.
And when he said that, I said, I got to find another job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I called Cornet. And me and Mike was together. Mickey talked us into coming and working with you and him at SCW.
SCW.
Yep. Wesley. Yes.
Yep.
You and I got fighting over there and drunk a beer behind the bar.
We did do that.
Yes. We stopped right in the middle of it and made the guy give us a beer, and we drunk it, and then we went back to fighting. It was funny. People didn't appreciate the humor. They
didn't get the forwardness of that spot, man. That's just classic stuff.
And remember the time when we didn't have a plan of how we was going to do it, but we both become popular. Both tag teams become popular.
Yeah.
Mike and myself, and you and McCree.
Yep.
One word.
Yes.
And so we decided in the middle of an interview, we're talking, and you said,
"Oh,
what about what happened in Florida?"
Yes.
And I looked at you and said, "You wasn't even supposed to say nothing about that." We swore, and I stormed off.
Yes.
And then you and Mickey stood there. Mike stormed off, and Mike says, "What the hell happened in Florida?" And then you left, and the next thing you know, Jim Lewis come back there.
Yes.
"Let me speak to you boys," and pulling his pants up.
Yeah.
"Tell me what the hell happened in Florida." And we busted out laughing. And said, Nothing. We've only been to Florida together once. Nothing happened. But we told the story that I threw some girl out the window of a third story motel into the pool
Yeah.
And we got in a bunch of trouble.
Yeah.
And I blamed it on you.
Blame it on me. Why not?
And that caused friction with the heat.
Yes.
Body.
Yeah.
That's how we got a feud going.
That is so funny because I remember that like it was yesterday. And I don't remember a lot because age and time, but I remember that because and like I said, we were both face tag teams, coming up, and we were building toward the big Halloween show that they had every year, and we were going to do the thing, and we were like, well, how do we get heat? What are we going to do? And so the Florida thing, I don't even know where it came from. It was just like one of those. Well, things.
I said, make up something. Just say something. You said, say what? I said, oh, whatever comes to your head.
Yeah.
And you said, you can't trust him. Remember Florida?
Yeah.
It was great.
The most funny.
Right into it.
They did, and the funny thing about it, like you said, is Jim Lewis actually bought it and was like, and I remember his eyes were this big around when he came back there. He was like, what happened?
He was right behind him.
Yeah. He's like, what do I need to know? What we can't have no real fights and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, Jim, go away.
We was drinking a beer then. It was over.
I'll tell you, man, those doggone Wesley shows, and where they messed up was they put them in a bar, and that number one, and number two, they left a refrigerator in the back full of cold beer. Two bad mistakes when it come to the four of us, especially back then.
Y'all smarted me up to where it was.
Yeah, right there. Right there.
I wasn't a drinker
at
the shows back then. Remember, I was very serious
about
everything.
Yeah, that's right.
And I wouldn't drink before a match for nothing.
Yeah. I wouldn't work. Well, see, that's the difference in us. I wouldn't work a match without drinking. So that's kind of where it was yin and yang. It was yin and yang.
I said, you can't do it. Ricky Riggle, you can't do it one word.
Yeah.
And then Mickey Free turned to him and said, you don't want to work him if he's not had a drink. He'll tater you and break your nose.
Yeah. It'll be a bad day for everybody.
Yeah.
That's funny. I remember, and I told this story, and I actually, I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But I told the story about when I first met you, and it was there at Bobby Holbrook's show, and I think it was Westminster. And you were still on TV at the time, and when we got there, we were of course over in the corner putting our stuff together and everything, and of course Mickey and I were teaming up. And I want to say it was I think it might have been the first match we did for Bobby. And everybody was the whispers in the locker room when we got there. Brodie's coming. Brodie's coming. Brodie's coming. What? Who? And they were like, yeah, Brodie Chase is going to be here tonight. And we were like, really? And so we kind of went over there, started, doing our stuff. And I don't know what it was about the lighting in that building. Or if it was the sun was going down, and there was big, picture windows in the front of the building. So when you open the door, it flooded the room with light, And so here comes a little bit before call time, the door opens, and the light fills the room, and then there comes Brodie, just with all his long hair, big giant barrel chest, looking like a star. And I'm just sitting over in the corner like, yeah, that's the guy. That is the guy. And that was the first impression I had of you. And it was like and then when we got to talking, it was like we all kind of just clicked immediately. And it was just funny how quickly we kind of all like, okay, we're all on the same wavelength here. Do you have any remembrance of that first show?
Oh, yeah. I remember that Rick Michaels video, him and his dad.
Yes, that's right.
Rick was a huge mark for me then.
Yep.
And I tell you one thing, I really hated working independent shows like that because guys would come in with greasy shirts and straight from work and have dirty hands and such, and then change their clothes and put their gear on, put their clothes in the same bag with their clean stuff, And I thought, oh my gosh, people can't be like this for sure.
Yeah.
But they were.
They were. They sure were. Was that the same show, or was it a later show where Bobby skipped out at the end? I think it was that same show, or was it the same venue? I know.
No, he run every month there at that thing, or every 2 weeks or something. But he did there at the end run out, and we found out that he went after his wife at a convenience store she worked in, because they played around and like swapping couples and stuff.
Yeah.
about that at the time. I thought, well,
Right, same.
what
Yeah.
swapping?
Yeah.
You take them for a week and then bring them back.
Right, yeah.
Videotape. You just get
Yeah.
it for a week back. And he got mad because she spent too much time with this one guy. And so he went to the convenience store and threatened to kill her and had a gun and robbed the place while the show was going on.
While the show is going on.
Yes. And he came back and said, hey, bye to everybody but us.
Yeah.
We was in the ring, and then he was gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
No payday. We didn't get to go to pay window, nothing.
The pay window. And we were all more upset about the pay window. We didn't know about the robbery.
Yes.
But that is the true definition of an outlaw show. If that's not the definition of outlaw, brother, I mean, wow.
I thought for a long time the reason they called it outlaws because he robbed that store.
Yeah. During the show. What a fascinating time. I mean, it's really crazy.
I thought a couple of years ago when they first started NXT, I thought, man, if a guy can't get into wrestling now, he just ain't got the drive or the body or the will to do it. Because it was like football practice. I was going to be the best on football team or I wasn't going to play, It's just the way it was. Yeah. And, oh, man, anybody could get in now. You could be a star. Just had the look.
Absolutely.
It was expensive to have the look,
right.
But you had to have the look.
Got a couple of comments before we move forward to the WWC stuff. Got a couple of comments. Steve says, "Do you remember when Lulu went after Waffle House Ron?" And
oh yeah.
and then there was Neil Koloff says the best trainer anyone could ever ask for is Brodie. He owes his career to you. And he thanks you for everything you did for him in his career. And he says he loves you, man. And then Chris Nelms says, Brodie Ray is the man. Great to see you doing well, Brodie. So the accolades keep coming in. And if, by the way, if you're in any of the chat rooms, I'm monitoring all the channels, the Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, Kick, and and YouTube. If you have a question or comment for the cat, shoot it into one of those chat rooms, and I'll see that he gets it.
I don't have no face page or my book or anything like that. I tried to go to Twitch. I tried to go Twitch one time, but I couldn't focus to see it long enough.
That was one of the things that Neil Koloff asked me yesterday when he asked me how I got a hold of you, and he goes, well, is he on any kind of social media? And I text him back. I said, not even a little bit. Why is that, Brodie? Why have you decided not to do any social media stuff? I'm curious.
Well, I do some stuff on YouTube, but I don't let nobody comment on the stuff. I post it out there, matches and such. If you go to my page, I probably got 150 matches on it from some point. And I got trouble on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. I didn't like it.
Yeah. No, you got to stay on top of it. That's for sure. But man, I just want to thank you again for doing this, and it's such a thrill to talk to you again. We are still live, and we're going to be live for as long as Brodie wants to go. We're on YouTube, Wrestle Radio, WRESTLE RADIO 860 on YouTube. We're on Twitch, Regalwood6969. Of course, Facebook is Ricky Regal. And, of course, Rumble and Kick are Regalwood, respectively. If you see this bulldog right here, you are in the right, by God, place. Brodie, as we move forward, let's get into some WWC stuff. How did the WWC come about, and how did it go over the various incarnations? There was the EWC and the Amateur Night. Tell me all about how that came to pass.
Well, when I got that big building, I had the place on Hayward Road.
Yes.
And a lot of people didn't know it, but I could transport myself like the guy that runs FEMA. And I would end up at a Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to have scattered, covered, and smothered with some coffee.
Yeah.
But he transported to Rome, Georgia, which was 150 miles from where I heard him tell the story last night, and I was stunned. Because this is the first time I've told anybody I could transport, but I was only 150 feet.
Yeah.
And I would transport pretty quickly over there. And if you wanted to find me, that's where you had to come. But then
that was the office.
When two of the workers tore up a van out in the parking lot
of the
own building, I don't know either.
I don't know about that.
We was inside watching TV, I think.
I think so.
It was almost a total loss. we got out of it, but he was done. That was it. It was time for us to move on. So I found that other building, and we moved out there. And my mom passed away right before I opened it, and I was building bleachers the night she passed away, and by myself, because I was, wanted to be alone and think about things.
Sure.
And we had that first big show, and it was standing room only. And I swear, it seemed like we had 300 people in there, and the fire marshal said we could have 120. But it was standing room only all the way around.
Yeah.
And we had that big stage, which took up a quarter of the building, it seemed like. And then we had bleachers, and then one side there where the air conditioner was, you couldn't have no bleachers. We had a row, one row, like a church pew looking thing. Yeah. And then we had big bleachers going to the concession stand. Yeah. And then, we had bathrooms for everybody, and it was a cool place. I liked it.
Yeah, the front part was like, wasn't that a gym you had in the very front part there?
That was on Hayward Road.
Okay, so we ain't got
the dressing rooms were upstairs.
Yes.
But we had to get there before the show started to get upstairs.
Yes, yeah.
We couldn't go to the bathroom because you had to walk through the crowd, and everybody would see you coming down the steps, think you're doing a run-in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was.
It was a good place.
Yeah, it was. Going back to that thing on Haywood Road. That I heard that's a legendary story, and I don't know. I don't even know how it got to be. Real quick, Steve says his wife Mindy said hello. Her and her sisters used to go to our shows and still has a ton of pictures from those days. I tell you what, yep. Steve, we'd love to see some of those pictures, man. Shoot them to
they were loyal fans.
Yeah,
great.
Shoot them to us. We'd love to see some of those. Some of those pictures. Lace says we had.
And back to what Steve said about Lulu and Waffle House Ron.
Yeah.
I started a thing where I'd let one of the baby faces take the microphone around and ask questions to the fans, and we would answer them in the ring.
Yeah.
And so AJ Don't Eat Poussey, he was there. He wanted to carry the microphone out there.
Yeah.
And I said, now listen to me. These are wireless mics, cost a lot of money. But back then they did.
That's right.
And I got her crush, which is Ron Killings.
Yeah.
So he could sing and dance coming to the ring, because I thought that was great. Yeah. And I said, don't let nobody have the microphone. You hold it, let them talk, and if they start cussing or anything, you take it away. Lord giveth, he taketh away. Well, I look, and AJ just hands her the microphone and puts his hands on his hips like la-di-da-di-da, I'm giving him the stink eye, like, what are you doing? The microphone. And then she starts, and I looked at Ron. I said, Ron, go get that microphone.
Yeah.
Don't take no for an answer. And he says, I got you, boss. And down, now, if you people didn't know Waffle House Ron, he was about 135 pounds. And he was a waiter at the Waffle House, not a cook. He was
a waiter.
But I loved him to death.
Yeah.
And he wanted to train to be a wrestler. And I'll come back to it, trust me.
Yeah.
But the first time I met him, I would meet everybody at the Barnes and I didn't let them see the ring or anything. You had to show me you wanted to be a part of it. And I charged $25 to interview somebody.
Yeah.
And he come up there, and I seen this guy 135 pounds. I thought, God, I don't know what I can do with this guy, And so I'm sitting there talking to him. I said, well, let me ask you, Ron, this is an important question. When you look in the mirror and you think about being a wrestler, what do you see? And Ron said, that's easy. And all 135 pounds of him soaking wet with the little pin mustache. He says, that's so easy. I've done this my whole life. I said, what do you see? He said, I see a cross between the Undertaker and the Ultimate Warrior. I've even got a name for myself, the Ultimate Wasp.
Koloff just put that in the chat, the Ultimate Wasp.
I said, Ron, do you realize how big those guys are? Undertaker's 6'10".
Yeah, what mirror are you looking in, brother?
But he believed it.
Yeah.
I mean, in his heart, he believed it, and I liked that.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'll start training you. And then about the second day of training, I said, well, You ever thought about being a referee? Because you look like a referee. So he came out in a Waffle House shirt with the hat, and we called him Waffle House Ron, and it was great.
Yeah.
He would shake the ropes like the Ultimate Warrior, you know, chewing that gum. But back to him going out there to get the microphone.
Yeah.
Lulu had, now if y'all didn't know Lulu was the sweetest woman, but she had a cussing streak, and she had a whole bunch of tattoos on her that didn't look like they came from a shop.
Yeah. And she was about three chairs of the first row.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was a large girl.
Yeah.
Just say it nicely.
Yeah.
And Ron he said, let me have that microphone. He reached up there and grabbed it. Now she's 4 times Ron's size. And Ron couldn't pull that microphone from her hand to save his life. I mean, he couldn't have done it if he put both feet on, pulling back. You know, she one hand, she's holding it.
Yeah.
And finally he goosed her. And she let go of it, and he took off running, and she came after him. And we can still feel her running now. Boom, 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 you know.
The reverberation.
She said, you son of a bitch, and jerked her top off. And them big things was flopping against her belly button, and she was racing cane, and they was going side to side. And I was like, put your shirt on. Family show. It's a family show. And the whole audience popped. Little kids was cheering, you know.
Yeah.
That's one of those nights I'll never forget.
Absolutely.
AJ didn't get that microphone, but Waffle House Ron did.
There you go. That's fantastic.
He about got killed, but he got it.
About got killed. So you were doing a training center out of that building too, and I know some guys. You mentioned Xavier Woods earlier. I know some guys came through there, Ron Killings and such. How did that come about, and what was kind of the business model behind the training center?
Well, I knew that there was a lot of workers up here that had the greasy shirts and clothes and was trained in their backyard with a piecemeal ring. Yeah. And I hated that. I wanted them to have real training and understand how to run the ropes. Because running the ropes is way more dangerous than anybody can realize.
Yeah.
If you don't put that hand up there and catch that top rope, you can break your neck.
Yeah.
Just run the ropes. So I wanted to train them how to take bumps, how to take arm drags, how to really wrestle, work a crowd, work a house, work an opponent. And everybody would come out there and they would lock up and they didn't want to work together. They thought it was me against him instead of us against them.
Yeah.
And I tried to smarten everybody up to that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's, and I told you this yesterday. We were on the phone. That is something that I always remembered. There was some guy. I don't even know who the two guys were, but I was there for a day of training one day, and they were in there just bullying against each other, you know, and just getting blown up just from you know, doing a little bit of in ring, not even running the ropes and stuff, just doing a little chain stuff, just getting blown up and couldn't understand why, and it looked like crap. And you just cool as a cucumber, just walked right between them and said, "Hold on, you got to understand that this is a dance. It's not me against you or you versus you. It's us against them." And kind of did your arm out over toward the crowd. And that always just stuck with me. And it was like the simplicity was the genius of it. And because it was, and then it was like a light bulb went off, you know, and then it became like, okay, well now this stuff starts to make sense. And a lot of people, Brodie, don't have that ability to teach. And that's what I was always so impressed with, was your ability to teach, but do it in a meaningful way where it stuck. So go ahead from there.
Well, a lot of guys didn't like the fact that I did comedy in a lot of my stuff. Mm-hmm. But we're entertainment.
Right.
We're there to entertain those people, make them feel like they were glad they spent their money to come and see us. Mm-hmm. We owe it to them to put on a good show. And if you don't interact with your crowd, you aren't worth the seat they're taking. You're just a wasted space with an outfit. So I try to teach everybody it's not a fight, it's a dance.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose we're there is to entertain a crowd. Now, I really think if we'd have had the means to do TV, and I don't know how this group is doing it now in Greenville, where they're on WSPA at night. I don't know who they are. Don't know any of the guys on it.
Yeah. But
WSPA tapes their stuff and puts it on TV at night for them.
Yeah, well, and I actually brought that up with Thomas a while back, and he told me that those are old shows that company I think it's Turbo, and it's actually a couple of guys that came down and did one of my Christmas shows. I can't remember his name. The guy who runs it. Who is it? Somebody in the chat will smart me up to what his name is.
Turbo Charge.
No, it's Pro Wrestling Turbo, but I can't. He's somebody will smart me up in the chat. But anyway, he said that company's kind of on the downslope, and that they're putting in old shows on that app. I think they're running on the WSPA Channel 7 app that they maybe bought some time on or something like that. But TK Stark is the guy who runs that and some of those guys. But yeah, so that's kind of I guess the deal on that. But yeah, you're right. I think if we could have got some of that stuff from WWC on TV, man, I think that would have been massive.
Jeff asked me yesterday why I'm not doing anything still, and I said the only thing I'd be interested in doing. Yeah. I don't want to book the wrestlers. I don't like to talk on the telephone. I don't want to call them and get the lies that well, brother, I need $10,000 to come and bring my boots. Yeah, I can't go for that. I don't do it.
Right.
But if I could handle just the show, we want me to put together the best show. Because there's a couple things you got to have a great show. You got to have a great opening match. It's as important as the main event. You got to set the stage and set the tempo of that night, so these people know that it's exciting. It's great. And when they first started with us, J.C. Daz and Scotty Wren was opening match. Scotty Wren wore the overalls and had the fried possum skins, and it was great. Yeah, they were great.
Yes, they were.
And I didn't realize that they took offense to it that I used them that way, even though I explained it. But they had a spot later on. Yeah. It just while we were running live shows in different towns, I liked them in that spot. It was so important. Yeah. And I remember Scotty Wren coming to an autograph signing at Walmart in Monroe, Georgia, and he looked like a pimp. He showed up. He was dressed nice, good clothes on, his sunglasses. Yeah. What are you doing? And he said, I just want to look good. I said, well, you can't look good. Where's your overalls? Yeah. They want to see your character. Yeah. I was in a tank top and shorts, and I never wore that, to a show. That was my character. So there I am. And man, he got so mad at me about that. He wanted to be the pretty boy, even though he was the country boy for the show. Yeah. People only remember what they see. And if they see both, one's going to say, that's bullshit. He ain't no country boy. I saw him at Walmart. Yeah. Wearing $100 shirt.
Yeah. With shine shoes.
Yep.
Let's see. James Jones says real quick, Brodie, that the training was great and is a lifelong experience. He says they want you to know that the training and work helped to let the doctor tell him that was one of the reasons he's still around, and he really appreciates you for that. See, Brodie, this is what I'm talking about. I don't think you understand the impact you've had on so many people's lives. And if we don't do anything else, accomplish anything else here today, I want you to leave this knowing that you have touched more people than you even realize, and they're appreciative, and they still love you, man. And by God, we miss you, man. And again, thank you so much for doing this. It really does mean a lot. It means not just to me, but to everybody who's chimed in today.
I tell you, it was a great time for me. I loved that. But after I closed the training, the guy sold the building is the reason I had to close the training center. We were making it okay. Yeah. But I closed the building, and I couldn't find another building quick enough to keep it going. Yeah. I tell you what, if you'll take one of those short breaks for a minute, my phone's dying.
Okay.
We'll finish this in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Is that good?
That sounds
All right.
good. So, yeah, Brodie's going to get the charger for his phone. We're going to take a quick break. I need to fill up my cup anyway. Everybody take a quick break. We'll be back here in about 2 minutes right here on Regalwood Rasslin. Stand by. All right, back here I'm sorry. I mean, I'm way back in the day doing Inside Wrestling Radio. It's Regalwood Rasslin. Welcome back. Welcome everybody who's joined us today. Everybody who's commented. Comments are still up and running. We still got Brodie here. We're gonna go with Brodie as long as he wants to go. What a fantastic interview we're having today with Brodie. Just catching up with him, man, and it's just phenomenal, and I do appreciate it. But again, I want everybody to know that it means a lot to me that everybody, is chiming in and participating, and I want Brodie to understand, man. That, like I said, before he leaves here today, I want him to know that he meant a lot to a lot of people, and it's just great to have him with us. Let's see if I can get him back here. Hang on a minute, Brodie. Something happened. Did you pop out by chance?
I did.
Okay. All right. You're good. Okay, you're good. Let me. I'm gonna have to reset Brodie into our stream here. So give me 1 second. We'll have him right back in. We're gonna live produce right here real quick. So give me just a second. Let's move that and get this link back in. Got you going. Just producing on the fly. That's part of the game. That's the way it works, baby. You gotta keep it pushing. All right, got him here, got him there. Come on. Well, did we lose him again? Brodie, you there? Well, I don't see Brodie. I see his he's in the production room, but I don't see his video right now. Well, while we're waiting on Brodie to come back, just a couple of for those of you who joined late, or let's see what Thomas says. I told Regal that you connect. Yeah, actually, Thomas I'm glad you said that, because I actually brought that up to him earlier. I brought that up to him earlier. What you said about yeah. Hang on just a second, Brodie. And I'll get you back. Give me another. We're gonna do another quick live production here. Let me move that.
The phone rang.
Oh, you good? You good? You good? Get you back in here, but get this. That. All right. Now we should have you back, I hope. There we are. There we are. I got you. All right. So welcome back to the program, the Stray Cat Brodie Ray Chase. That music stopped. So and I and I told you earlier before we went live. Thomas had contacted me. Thomas Simpson, of course, had contacted me about him also being excited to hear from him again, and he just and I remember I told you what he said about he can directly connect the WWC to every promotion in the Carolinas and Georgia today, and over the last 25 to 30 years. So I mean that's a big deal too. I mean, as we all know, God love him. Thomas don't give out a lot of compliments.
No, we don't. I appreciate that from him.
Yeah, so that's high praise.
I had so many great guys and girls that was a part of the show. It was wonderful, and I appreciate everybody that said nice things or bad things, and I appreciate every one of you, and I love every one of you, and always will, because those are some of the best days of my life. I enjoyed that, but it got to where, even in the Regal boards, you saw that a lot of people would say that I wasn't worth a crap. If I didn't run my own show, nobody would put me over. And then after we lost the building, I had to start going to other promotions. I got put over bigger than ever.
Yeah.
I was a 2-time NWA heavyweight champion, 2-time TV champion. Went to WWE and I dominated Spanky in London.
Yes, absolutely. Hang on just a second.
It's great.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. A lot of people do know, some people may not know. Real quick, Hoss Haygood, he popped in the chat. He says the short amount of time he got to spend with you, he says you were golden to him, and he appreciates everything you've done. Just again, the comments keep coming in, Brodie, and people just appreciate you for all that you've done. But before we leave the WWC stuff, it kind of there was you mentioned earlier in the show you ran so many number of shows, and that's counting all the events, the World Wrestling Council, the Extreme Wrestling Council, and then there was also an amateur night. Tell me about that kind of brand split that you were doing out there, right there in the middle.
Well, we did WWC, and that's a family show. Now, you could say hell or damn, but no GDs, no Fs, no bombs like that,
Yeah.
But more and more people were sneaking more and more little words in and saying stuff that shouldn't be said in front of children.
Yeah.
So then started the EWC, the Extreme. So on Tuesday night, you could come and see or hear anything. We even started, women started standing up in stands and flashing everybody. And I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. It became such, I'd talk them into coming up in the ring. I'd give them a beer if they wanted to show those puppies. And they did. And I'd give out, 6 or 7 beers. And then when they were done, they would all hand me the beer back. This was win-win for Brodie,
Absolutely it is.
It was great. And I loved hardcore now.
Yeah.
And you could do so many things. Like the main event was the hardcore champion came to the ring, and then we would play keep them separated just over and over and over and over, and until everybody was eliminated.
Yeah.
And whoever was last man standing was the now EWC heavyweight champion. And so that was 2 nights. Then amateur night, these guys came to me and wanted to rent the ring, and I thought, man, that's a liability. I don't know if I want to step on there. They hadn't had no training. So I said, here's what I'll do. I'll do amateur night, but y'all all got to come and learn how to take a couple of bumps, learn how to run the ropes, and then you're on your own.
Yeah.
I'm not going to teach you how to wrestle. I'm just going to keep you from killing yourself.
Yeah.
Before you touch anybody else. Nobody coming jumping off the ropes to the floor, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And at first, it was my most successful night because I didn't charge anybody to come in. You could come in, have a good time. I got concession. And I charged the guys, it was like $40 a head. And everybody worked twice. You won without a mask and you lost with a mask. Everybody was happy. They won.
Yeah.
We don't know who the guy was that lost.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't let them come in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Because I had a whole lot of stuff on the walls, as you know,
yeah.
explaining what the business was and the rules that you had to follow and how to work a match and all these things that were for people that took training.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have them in there reading all that and not coming to training and then going out and doing other shows.
Yeah, that's right.
I never ever had a training where, okay, y'all just go have fun, do whatever you want to do. I mean, I had a plan to every training. We watched some match that was 8 minutes, 10 minutes long, and it was a perfect match to watch because they worked the match like you should. And then we would go out there and work on something from that match till we got it.
Yeah.
Till everybody. And that was how I did training. And then how you impressed me, how you came to training. Like if you only came to training once a week and showed up on Saturday to work, there's no way I could put you in no main event. You just didn't have enough training.
Right.
But I'd let you work, but you would work somebody lower in the card. And if you came to training and was there 3 or 4 days a week, you got moved up faster. You got 5 times the training that the guy that come once a week got. Mm-hmm. That's only fair.
Yeah.
Because they were better. And, you know, guys like Michael Adrian and Jeff and AJ Pouchet, those guys were so talented. They caught on so quick. You know, Jeff was a state champion like 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm so proud of him. He's Neil Koloff now.
Yes.
And he's he's big time. He's getting all the push, all these shows, and he's making good money, and he's a great guy. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
And you got to have a personality that's good. You can't be an asshole. You got to learn how to be respectful, how to show respect and get respect.
Yeah.
And all those things have to be taught because you're not going to know it when you go out there. And Austin did.
Yeah.
Austin showed up, and I made him come to training. Made him pay his first time. You had to come in. And he had a little training down in Georgia, but nothing about character training.
Yeah.
So that's why he says I trained him, taught him to be a worker, because I taught him how to use his character, how to work a match, all that stuff. Austin was talented day one.
Yep.
He was a perfect fan. He was a smart mark that sat out there and got you heat. He never cheered for the bad guy. He booed the bad guy, cheered the good guy. He was the perfect mark to sit in the crowd. Mm-hmm. And I loved that. But when he showed up, he could go.
Yeah.
And I knew, man, you ain't going to have him long because he's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, and Brodie's talking about, of course, Xavier Woods, Austin. We knew him as Austin Creed back in the day.
Austin Creed.
Yeah, Austin Creed. What you looking at, fool? Creed.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. It's funny to me, Brodie. Not really funny. It's just it's remarkable to me that yesterday you were telling me a story when we were on the phone, and even you just kind of alluded to it just then in that little story you just told about not smartening up, people right away. And I just wonder what your opinion is, because even in the story you told me yesterday, while we were talking, you went over what you call the how would you call it, how a match works format the match, how
yes.
the work, the inner workings of putting together a match. And even after telling me what you told me, you said, we'll talk about anything you want to talk about tomorrow, but I'm not going to tell anybody the formula. And so just the fact that you still respect kayfabe is remarkable to me. And so I got to ask you, what's your opinion on how much has changed from then, and the way you trained and the way that you still believe clearly to today, where the curtains pull way back on everything?
Well, I think they really messed up doing this behind the scenes stuff in WWE. I really do. Mm-hmm. I know it's getting popular. Everybody thinks they're getting the inside scoop, but they're not. They're getting worked. Yeah. It's a work.
Right.
But they're telling everybody the business.
Yeah.
I mean, all the personal stuff's coming into it, 1 week this girl's with this guy, and the next week she's with 2 other guys, It changes. And half of that is a work. It's not real, but everybody believes it is, and that belief that it is killing the business. And when I see a show like AEW, I really loved that when it first started, but now I can't stand to watch it. Everybody that comes out has a title.
Yeah.
I've never seen a show with 30 belts, Yeah. Everybody got a belt from a different promotion. They got a Japan champion. You got, blah, blah, blah. But everybody's got a belt.
That's right.
And I don't like that.
Yeah. No,
because the guy, he don't put his belt on the line. The guy that loses is the other guy.
And that's something else I learned from you back in the day too. Was you always kept the belts to a minimum, because you said, and I think your direct quote was, "This is a trophy. This is something that should be revered, and you need to work for it, and you need to, it needs to be something that everybody beneath that champion needs to be trying to get to that champion." So there's no need for, you're going to have your side stories, but all of those side stories and side matches and undercard stuff is to build toward that top trophy. Climbing the mountain. Yeah.
And, everybody that was a trainee of mine that won the WWC Heavyweight Championship won it from me.
Yeah.
That would be passing the torch. Okay, you beat me. You're the champion.
Yeah.
And then when they were ready to lose it, they'd lose it back. And then I'd do that to the next guy. You beat me. Here's the championship.
Yeah.
Take it. Yeah. Have fun. Put butts in the seat. Help me out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about me having the belt. It was about the respect I was showing that guy. Mm-hmm. About it means more to take it from me. I've been around the world. Mm-hmm. than it would be to take it from a friend that y'all played flag football in the backyard. You know?
Yeah, it's legitimately and literally giving the rub. I mean, that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
If you notice today, everybody gets the rub as they retire. You think, well, he's going to win his retirement match. No, he's not.
Yeah.
It's a tradition that you put over the hot guy.
Yeah.
And that's why the German, I can't ever think of his name.
Yeah, no,
heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's a great character.
Yeah.
Got a great chop. And the one I really loved that was with him to start with, the one that's real lean, and I loved him. I told him when I saw him in Greenville, I said, man, you got a great gimmick. You're great. And he was doing the same thing this guy was, the champion. But he got hurt, and I didn't see him no more for a while. So
yeah.
And one of the favorite guys for me is every time I went to the WWE was Santino Morelli.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah.
Did you know that guy was an amateur champion? I mean, he could really work.
Yeah.
He could go.
Right.
But he did the clown stuff. And he was my favorite segment to watch.
Yeah.
He would mispronounce names.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious too. Yeah. And that
you
kind
come out here, Mr. Paper Man, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, no, I that stuff was he was funny to me, and I always liked his segments. It kind of was like the in one of the earlier episodes I put over Danhausen, because his comedy is just so good, and it sucks you in, and it's getting over because he's killing it in merch, and I just think it's funny, and it's, you know, you got to kind of, if it works, go with it, and they're doing that I think is probably one of the better segments on the show. I don't know how much length it's got of time, because it can run its course, but right now he's killing it. Real quick before we move forward, a couple of comments. Jason Justice has popped into the chat. He says, Brodie Ray, Regal, my dogs. It's good to see Jason Justice. Hadn't seen him in a long time. And Neil Koloff is Scotty Wren. And Neil Koloff is talking about the Wallace hair versus mask story. I'm not familiar with the Wallace hair versus mask story.
Wallace hair.
You're not either.
It's not ringing a bell.
Not ringing a bell. Okay, that's some of Neil's remembrances. And then Steve says,
he's got a great memory.
Yeah, he does have a great memory. And then Steve says Sam Pike, a.k.a. Betty Dahmer, used to get great heat with Brodie. Him and Brodie had some good matches. Any remembrances about the Sam Pike stuff?
I love Sam Pike. Last time I seen him was at Randy
Nichols
Gaylord's funeral.
Yeah, Randy Nichols.
And he was blind.
Is that right?
He wasn't allowed to drive more or anything, and him and his wife had divorced, but he lived with them.
No.
And she carried him everywhere he needed to go. And I felt so bad, you know, because he was so entertaining. I loved him to death. Now, he didn't have the body to be a wrestler, but he did that comedy, you know. He would do that little spin in the ring like Booker T would do, but somebody had to grab his feet and spin him around. You know? And then he would land in the sexy pose, and people popped for that.
Yeah.
They loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, Brodie, about losing the building there and for WWC. So where were you emotionally? Where was your head at when all of that happened? Because I know you went on and had a lot of success in Georgia. Where was you kind of your head at when the thing kind of went away there in Greenville?
Well, he came to me, the owner did, and you know, I'd been there for 8 years or so, and he said about 3 years before that, he said, "Listen, you want to buy your building?" And I thought to myself, "Buy the building? I'm one piece of 4, you know."
Yeah.
It was a big, huge building, and I had one little piece of 4. There was 3 other people that rented. And I thought, how can I buy my piece? How much the parking lot do I get? You know, how much control do I have of this? And I couldn't envision buying that. Now I wish I had.
Yeah.
But he came to me one day and he said, "Listen," "I got some bad news." I said, "What?" He said, "I sold the building." I said, "You did?" He said, "Yeah." Said a guy flew in from Texas and bought it. And I was stunned.
Yeah.
He said, now the bad news is if you can be out by the end of the month, you don't have to pay for this month. He's going to take it at the end of the month.
My God.
I had 3 weeks. I'm trying to find a building and I couldn't find it quick enough. And, when you're talking $3,000 a month for a building, you got to pay first month, last month, and get that $50,000 security bond. That's a lot of money to fork out to start another business when you weren't prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't. So for a while, I kind of moped around a little bit, and then I decided to go to NWA Anarchy. I thought, everybody talked about it. Matter of fact, the guy that owned it, Jerry Palmer. Jerry Palmer came up to a Shadow Jackson show, and I met him and loved him to death. And he said, I want you to come down to my place. I think you'd be a big hit there. I said, okay, I'll do it. So I go down, and it went great. First couple matches was good, and then Bill Bearings kind of started liking me a little bit. First, it was I was an outsider, but then they kind of realized I was there to help. And my job became, I sat in front of the television monitor. And when a guy went out to his match, he'd say, will you watch my match? I said, of course I will. And he'd come back and say, how'd I do? And I'd always say, you did great. But if you'll come back to me in a little bit, we'll talk about it at intermission or something. And I'll give you everything I noticed that may can help you. And they loved it. So, the funny thing with Bill was a no-nonsense guy, and he didn't like a lot of people. He would cuss. I'm trying to cut a GD vignette here, you sons of bitches, shut up. He come in one day, and he said, I'm trying to quit cussing. Please be quiet. I've got to cut vignettes. So I jumped up there. I said, I got you, Bill. I got you back. I'll help you. And they would get loud, Bill would say, tell them to shut up. I said, hey, you sons of bitches. Bill said, shut the hell up. He's trying not to cuss. And I got a laugh out of Bill.
Yeah.
And I did that for months. I mean, I would cuss them out like crazy.
Yeah.
But it was in fun. It was nobody serious. It was in fun. But I had a little prestige back there. I wasn't running the show. I was just giving advice, and then they was dropping the strap on me and putting me over. It was great, and I got to go to the WWE and the Heat match where they put me over London and Kendrick.
Yeah, and I want to spend a little time on that in a second, but real quick, some more comments coming in. So the story that Neil was bringing up was about the mask versus hair thing. He says that Wallace Posey wore a mask. He went out to do a promo without the mask. He challenged the guy to a hair versus mask match, and you told him, Wallace, you don't have the mask on. And Wallace says, oh, I'll go back and put it on. You remember it now?
Yes, that was on the amateur night.
Okay. Did he legit forget to put the mask on, or?
Yes. Well, and you have to understand, he was special. he rode the short bus. But I understood that. He understood that. And you couldn't not like what he did because where it was coming from. He meant well. Yeah. But I couldn't do nothing but laugh.
I'm popping for it now.
I got suckered into a match with a kid that come, and he was severely challenged. And at the time, I was working with special needs kids in middle schools.
Yeah.
And so I recognized it. And he loved me, and he wanted a match. I said, I can't give you a match. He's all kind of waivers we have to do and blah, blah. And his parents came in and asked me if I'd let him wrestle a match. And I thought, God, we'll see. We'll see how he does. And every amateur night, he would come to all the shows, but amateur night, he knew he could talk and say something. Yeah. And I had JB. I know you remember JB. How you doing, boss man?
Yeah.
We were at the Huddle House one night, and he would have his shorts hemmed, and they were super short. And I mean, he would buy them in the store and go have them hemmed, where they was like a 3-inch crotch, you know.
Yeah.
And when he laughed, he just laughed so loud. Everybody in the building was his like louder than mine. And we was there, and we all shoved into the little corner booth there, and everybody was eating. And he thought he got over on me with a joke. And he's and he threw his leg up in the air. And when he did, his package fell out.
Oh God.
Yeah, kibbles and bits. I mean, it was all out, and I saw it. And I'm like, JB, put your leg down. And he kept it in there. What's wrong, cat? Cat got your tongue? No, but it's got yours. And he wouldn't drop it. He would not put his leg down, and I had to tell him, JB, your junk's hanging out.
Yeah.
And the waitress was standing there just laughing. I mean, she couldn't even bring food to the table. She was laughing so hard. And everybody in the restaurant was laughing so hard. David Cody got up from the other table and come over there. He was packed at this one. And I was sitting over there and I saw your balls, JB. Lace was crying. I mean, it was hilarious.
Oh, God.
But things like that just happen. I mean, who couldn't love a story like that?
That's right.
You know?
Who couldn't love a story like that?
And I decided to get out when I looked at myself one day. I watched this match. I thought it was pretty good. And when I saw it, I looked slow. And I thought, man, I don't ever remember being that slow, which I had a hip operation, and that was part of it. But I was still in good shape. I just didn't understand why I looked like that running the ropes, like I was doing it in slow motion. So Flair had that match where he was, 80 or however old he was. And about died in the ring. Yep. People thought he was dead, and then he got up and finished the match. And I thought, I don't ever want to be like that. I just can't do it. So I talked to him at Dragon Con and said, listen, I want to do a farewell match, and I got to do it over 2 years. I only did it once a year. And I said, the first year, I need about 4 guys, little punks, and I want to do old school versus new school. And then the first match, we're just going to have fun, and we're going to do funny stuff that people will love, because I was over there. I mean, I was huge over. And I was already in the Hall of Fame, and I'd only been there about 5 years. So he said, yeah, we'll do it. I said, now next year we come back and I want every kid under 25 out there. And they're all going to beat my ass and leave me laying. And that's my last match. And they said, we'll do it, but I really wish you wouldn't retire. I said, yeah, you got to. That's the whole point of doing this finish is that I want to retire. And I couldn't go 1 year. First year, and I called Tiny and told him, and then I guess after that I kind of lost the desire to go. A year passed. I thought, let's just cut it down. No need to have a retirement match. I'm not there. Everybody knows I'm gone. So I never had a retirement match. Just I saw myself look slow.
And that was just it. I mean, that just keyed off something in your mind, and that from that day forward, your mind was made up, huh?
Yeah, I tried to watch wrestling. I'll watch WrestleMania now and Starrcade, some of the big shows. Yeah. But I don't watch it at all. It's on 7 days a week. And I mean, you don't want to watch wrestling every day of your life.
Right. Right.
If you're not in it, then that's you want to get to that point. But there's just too much of it on now. It's oversaturated. The magic's gone.
Yeah.
You really got to do something special. And I hate to watch 3 hours of wrestling for that 1 5-minute special moment,
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And it's, I about said it in every show I've done one of these is, I know it's weird and it's an oxymoron, but I do a wrestling podcast but I don't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll get reports and I'll get, little things will pop in because of my connection to it. I still see things, and of course, people will tell me about some stuff that's going on or whatever. And then if I find something that does catch my, it's like the Danhausen stuff, I'll pay a little special.
The funny stuff you showed,
yeah,
like the Mexican that fell off the top of the steps, and that was funny.
Yeah,
and then the guy that climbed up the top of that ladder, I thought he killed himself.
I did too, and in fact, that's what I call my most ridiculous item of the day. And actually, I have one kind of similar to that coming up as we end the show later on. But yeah, that stuff is, I see that kind of stuff. But as far as, like you said, spending the investment of sitting and dedicating that much time to wrestling, I just don't know. But the thing you said in there, the key to that whole thing you said was the magic is gone. And I brought that up with Nikita last week. And I said the same thing. I asked him the same thing. How do you feel about the state of the business day? And he even was like, yeah, I don't know that we can ever get that back. I don't know how you would. You know what I mean? So, but one thing, and it's a very poignant story that you tell about when you watched your match and you said you looked a little slow. The thing about that is that you recognize, because we know we've been around a long time. We know there's people out there still doing it. You know what I mean? Who probably shouldn't be. Yeah. So, but you still have an unmatched passion for this thing. And when you were telling me, we were talking yesterday about the formula, you were going through the formula with me, and you were calling the spots as you were going through the formula, and it was like, but the passion was still coming out of you. So how do you rectify that with where you are with it today, and how you still have that love for it? Because I know clearly that you do.
Well, they're taught that, but they just don't use it. I mean, you don't know how much time they got. And more times than not, the interview segment is more important than the match, because they're only going to show the good stuff on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Occasionally they should, and they've done it once or twice, but, you should randomly lose the show on smaller cards. They don't do house shows anymore. Everything's televised. So, in my opinion, it's dead.
Really?
Yeah. I say that, and they're getting $25,000 for ringside seats for WrestleMania. So I don't know how dead it be.
Yeah. Well, and I brought that up last week too, Brodie. Is we know what a wrestling fan is. You brought up Lulu. Yeah. That's your wrestling fan. She
couldn't pay $1,000 for a seat.
Who can? And I mean, even then, some of the ticket prices are $1,700 for here and $500 for nosebleeds. And I'm just thinking, how are you going to hold on to that fan base that we kind of grew up, with, and for these exorbitant prices? That doesn't make sense to me, because you're kind of pushing away the people who put you where you are today. So I don't know how all that works out.
I really believe that. If you ran the right, this is the only job I would ever want, is to be able to run the show, not call the wrestlers. I don't want to talk to all these people.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I don't want to call these saying, what do you think about this? Talk to me the night of the show. And I want to run a show like it should be run.
Yeah.
And I want to leave them hanging. And then before everybody leaves, the announcer says, we'll be back in X number of weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll continue it.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. I'll have everything in my head, and I'll already have that next match laid out, ready to go, next show. That's the job I'd like to have, especially if you had TV taping or something and you did it every week. I don't want to train. That was hard. I mean, I worked my tail off training guys, because when a guy don't know how to work, it's like picking up a 300-pound sack of sand.
Yeah.
Versus a guy that knows how to go up.
Yeah.
But that wear you out doing it 20 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
260 days a year.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. And you mentioned, I wanted you to tell us. I know we've been going a long time, but it's just, again, it feels like we've only been talking 20 minutes. We've been going 2 hours. And whenever you're ready to go, you let me know. But I did.
up here in just a minute.
Okay, that's fine. But we will. But before we do, I wanted you to kind of relay that story you told me yesterday about the time you did go up to the WWF for the Heat thing, and not so much the match, because we know the match was great and they put you over huge in commentary. But what happened after that match was very interesting to me. I don't know if a lot of people even know that.
Yeah. Before the match, I didn't even know if I had a match. We all went out and we had to perform in front of a group of people. And they chose the sides like a basketball game. Okay, you over here. Y'all gonna have a 5-man match. I want to see Gaga. I want to see Heat. I want to see come out and finish. And okay, now Neil Koloff can tell you. I stood there for about 5 minutes. I said, "What are you guys gonna do?" And they just, well, I don't know. What should we do? I said, "Step up, call your spots. You work with him. You know, if you're the same size guys, work each other. You smaller, work each other. Now, when there's a transition point where the big guys with the small guy, you got to be smart, but you can't kill time. This guy wants to see us in 10 minutes, do everything we can do." So they stood there for a while, and I looked at Neil and I said, "Hey, we're gonna open the show." And the guy said, "Y'all about ready?" I said, "Yeah, we are." And nobody else had worked out anything. I told Jeff we're gonna do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we did it. We rocked the house. I mean, because all the people were in the stands watching us. Stephanie, all the other workers, and we got a little pop. I mean, they clapped for us. Yeah. And it was great. And we stepped out of the ring, and then it went to shit. You know? Didn't talk about their stuff. And poor Phil Shatter, he was huge, and he'd come in the ring and started beating the crap out of all the baby faces. Just, man, he was really hitting them. I mean, he was slamming them in the back. The boys' heads looked like bobbit dolls, you know, bobblehead dolls. Yeah. I thought, oh my God. And Kenny Anderson, Mr. Anderson, was doing our little thing. And he looked at me like, good God, you know, what's going on? How could y'all look this good? And now it's because they didn't understand what they wanted to see. Yeah. They think they want to see me go out. But Neil will tell you, I put him over showing out. Yeah. And I bumped and fed and did my talking. And our spot didn't last 3 minutes, but it stole the show. Yeah. So after that, the Fox girl, Veronica Fox, she comes up to me and says, "Will you do me a favor?" And I'm sure. And she said, "Would you teach me how to wrestle?"
Yeah.
I'd be glad to. we started doing reverses and stuff, you know, down on the floor, and the other guys were still bumping in the ring and doing their stuff. And we started having a little session. Well, I started growing a little group of people around us watching us, because a lot of guys don't know how to wrestle from hole to hole.
Yeah, right.
You got 1 or 2 reverses, and that's it. But the main thing, they don't know how to sell. It takes 2 people to sell.
Yeah.
You got to sell what I'm doing to you, and then I got to sell what I'm doing to you. It takes 2. Yep. And William Riddle came down there, and he started helping me. And I thought he was going to tell me to get the hell out of there, you know, and go somewhere else. Yeah. But he was great. And so after the matches were over, and the referee come and got me, and he said, "Come back here a minute, and we'll talk to you." I thought, man, I get fired. I thought I had a great spot, you know? Yeah, yeah. And I go back there, and this guy was there. I don't even remember his name, but he said, "John Laurinaitis wants to talk to you about maybe being an agent. Would you be interested in that?" I said, "Well, what exactly does an agent do?" He says, "He puts together matches. You're given a match or 2 matches, and you put it together. You tell them how long to go, and they tell you what they want to do, and you either nix it or okay it." Oh, yeah, I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Let me get your number." I said, "Okay, here it is." He said, "We'll give you a call." I said, "All right." Well, my dumbass didn't think to say, "Well, who do I call in case I miss your call?" You know? Let me write this number down. I didn't do it. And I sat by the phone for, I guess it's been 12 years now, just still waiting on that phone call, you know. I'm going to be an agent. I got to answer the phone. You know?
Keep this line clear. Brodie, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this and how much of a blast this has been. I mean, it really has been just amazing. Thanks for everybody who participated. Brodie, I'm going to let you go because I know you got to, but real quick, I want to do a really quick name association thing. So I'll throw out a name. You give me just a quick thought. It can be one word. It can be a couple of words, whatever you think. But I'm just going to throw these out to you real quick, okay? So this is what we're going to do, the name association game with Brodie Ray Chase. I'm going to start out with Michael Judas.
Super talented, super look, maybe a little arrogant. I love him to death, but just, you know, but he's super talented. Got a great look.
Scott Steiner.
You know, we had heat because I messed up a spot in a match one time, and we made up. And I guess working for Ronnie Gossett, I worked him 20 times, him and Buff Bagwell, and we had great matches. And Scotty would talk to me. We'd dress together. I mean, yeah, it was great. I'm glad we settled that. That's the only guy I guess I ever had heat with it because I messed up.
Mike Hart.
Mike Hart, love him to death. You know, I've hooked up with Mike Hart since he was gone for a long time, moved to Pennsylvania, and was plant manager at a place. And married a girl. They moved back here. And I got a phone call, and it was a friend asking me if I'd give Mike a call because Mike made him depressed. He's having a hard time. And I said, "Oh, let's give me the phone number." And I called him, and then we met for coffee. And then I went down to his house, and he told me he'd like to do a podcast. What would I think of it? It'd be great. And so we kind of laid out a format for that, but we hadn't got it off the ground yet.
Johnny Love.
Great guy. Johnny Love. You remember how mad he got at me for calling him a refugee from a banana boat Cuban plane?
Yes.
He got so mad he started crying.
Yes.
Johnny, I don't anything by that. And he said something to me that night. He said, "Just a whole lot of stuff, Brodie. We was out there at our match. And those people said, 'Johnny Love, you caused your people to lose again.'" Johnny, you're a manager. That's your job. You know,
Right.
that way your guys didn't lose. You cost them the match. "Can't I do something right?" I said, "You are. You got to quit this."
That was too good. Too good. Bill Behrens.
Bill Behrens, love Bill Behrens. At first, boy, I was worried. I didn't think he liked me at all. He wouldn't hardly talk to me. Todd would talk to me, you know. But then me and Bill got real tight. And then he was the reason I got to go back to the WWE and do that heat match. And, man, he hugged me and told me how proud he was, how good I did. So, to this day, I love Bill. If they hadn't closed Anarchy, I mean, I'd still have something to do with the show.
Jay Eagle.
Jay's a good guy. I've heard that he's got some kind of problems now with legal problems or whatever. I don't know. And if it's true, then he's got no place for that. But as far as a person, I like him. I always have. I like everybody that's been in the business that I've met. They've all had good and bad, but I try to remember all the good. Only two people I'll ever have any bad words for is Buddy Landale and Buzz Sawyer. And I don't have any good words for them. But
Yeah.
and they're both passed, so I'm not going to say anything bad about them.
There you go. Ronnie Gossett.
Ronnie is very misunderstood. Ronnie means well, and I think the world of Ronnie. Ronnie helped me a lot, and I helped him a lot. And he put together great shows. He could get lights. He was the first person I ever met that could not put a dime of his own money in a show and get names and lights and music and people to do stuff that he didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
But he was a mark for talent.
Yeah.
And I tried to talk to him about it. And if you showed up at his show and you were a name, and give you an example, Matt and Jeff Hardy and Shane Helms showed up at a match one night. Weren't on the card, weren't booked to be there. And he paid them for coming, and they didn't even go out and say, hey, I'm Matt Hardy, I'm Jeff Hardy. And I thought, why did you pay them? He said, man, their names. I said, were they on your poster? Because if they didn't put a butt in that seat, you don't owe them a dime. And that's what a lot of people, when they're training, didn't understand. Their family didn't want to pay to see them. Mm-hmm. But if your family don't want to pay to see you, why do you think anybody else going to want to pay to see you?
Absolutely. That absolutely. Thomas Simpson.
That's understanding. Tom Simpson. I love Thomas.
Yeah. I do too.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of heat from a lot of people because he says what he's thinking. There's no filter.
Right.
And man, I think the world of Thomas. He's always been honest to me and straight with me.
Cruiser Lewis,
great guy.
Absolutely.
Got a great wife.
Yep.
They are good people. And man, to me, Cruiser Lewis looks the same today.
He does.
He did 30 years ago.
And somehow he's it looks better somehow. I don't even get that.
Ask him who gave him that biker gimmick and come up with that. Some guy I know.
A story for another day. David Cody.
David Cody, man. Me and David had a hit and miss relationship for a long time, but I love him like a brother.
Yeah.
And it hurt me so bad when he passed.
Yeah.
When I went to the funeral, it was a gathering more than a funeral. Mm. And it messed me up for a while. It really did. Yeah. I thought the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It was absolutely rough. Last one, and I'm gonna let you go after this. Mickey Free.
Mickey Free, one word.
One word.
Man, Mickey was unbelievable. We were like brothers for 4 years that we was running shows in Georgia and traveling all over trying to get our show together. And you couldn't ask for a better traveling partner. And our whole show was going to be built around you and Mike was going to work me and Mickey in single matches. And we would all do, because we were friends.
Yeah.
The best matches are with your friends, not people you don't know. Because you get mad after that match, man, that guy didn't do what he was talked about, nothing happened. And you said, I lay out a match, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I do.
Yes, you do.
Do the T.
Yes, you do.
And I don't forget it.
You don't.
You can tell. No, I'll call it for you when we get in.
Yeah.
But it's all in sitting there and realizing what this person wants to do. What gets you over? Here's what gets me over. And then we lay it out. We need to do that here. We need to do that there. And you put it together to make a finished product. It's like a book, and you start writing a book, and you have 50 chapters. Chapter 13 might have started out as chapter 1, but now it's chapter 13.
Yeah.
But put it all together, and it's a perfect book.
Yes, absolutely. Before I let you go, got 2 in the chat rooms want to know their opinion of you. What about Lace?
That's very good. She's outstanding. She did her job well. She was so hated. The worst thing I ever did, we had that big show at Wade Hampton High School, and it was the same night they did Raw on television, and we filled Wade Hampton up. Now, a lot of that had to do with Neil Koloff and his dad, who helped us a lot. And the kids came. Man, it was a great crowd. And she was KC Thunder's valet, and her whole story was like she stepped right out of the pages of Dynasty. Mm. And so we did this match, and then at the end of the night, she come in the ring and slapped me, and I slapped her back.
Yeah.
She took a bump. Then when I got out and left, I got to thinking, oh my God, this is for a women's shelter.
Oh,
I just a woman, and I can't believe it. I'm almost in tears, and I go find them.
Yeah.
I said, look, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to be offensive. That was just, we went with the flow. We didn't call that. It just went with the flow. And the woman looked at me from Shepherd's Gate or whatever the name of it was. And she said, I'm glad you hit that bitch. I said, well, I shouldn't have done it. to prevent women abuse. And here I go slapping a woman quarter my size.
You can't buy stories like that. It's so great. It's so good.
The best stories in the world are true.
The best ones in the world are absolutely true. Brodie Chase, God love you, man. Thank you so much. We've gone over 2 hours and it feels like 10 minutes.
We'll do it again.
We've got to do it again. Thomas mentioned something one time before but when he was texting me before the show, and he said something like, we need to do some kind of appreciation dinner for Brodie and for what you've meant to everybody in this business. And I'm all with it. And I think that's something we need to look at in the future. I want to do something with you, man. I want to do something with you soon. You
know what? They could start a what's them pages where they give you money?
Oh, the GoFundMe? Yeah, the GoFundMe.
Yeah, they could start a GoFundMe page, and that'd be all right. Let me tell you, when I was coming up with this podcast idea, I was trying to figure out how to get some sponsors and everything to help me out. And this woman come to me and she said, have you thought about OnlyFriends? And I thought, well, OnlyFriends are the only people that's going to help me. She said, well, I'm telling you, OnlyFriends, you could make some money. So I thought, well, I went and told Mike. I said, well, here's how we're going to make our money. OnlyFriends. And Mike said, what? I said, he said, just put the name on the website and people give us money. I don't think that's what they do. What is OnlyFriends? I didn't know what it was. He explained it to me. And I said, oh, I'm not going to do that. No. That would hurt.
Just too good. I'm gonna let you go, man. I know you got stuff to do. Jason Justice does say at the end here he owes you his career. If that's not just a testament to what you've meant to people, man, I don't know what else is.
We had some good matches.
Yeah.
He was good. He's a great guy. He was there every time the training doors open. Him and JC Daz. Yes, they were there. They learned to work, and I tell you, I wish I had explained better that the match with Jason Justice, the country boy, and JC Daz wasn't going to be forever. That when we got to TV taping, they were going to be major players because they had talent. Yeah. And I think they thought I was going to use them in the opening match the rest of their career, and that wasn't the truth. And it's my fault because I didn't explain it. Well, we all live and we all learn and we all move forward. But I tell you, I'm thankful to have you to call you still after all these years a friend. I'm thankful that you're still out here doing it and still being you. I mean, you ain't changed a bit, and I love you for it. And I thank you so much for doing this. I want to do it again. We'll set it up for in the future. But we're gonna stay in touch, and I can't wait to see you again, Brodie. I cannot wait to see you and talk to you again. Right. Thank you so much, brother. Anything you want to plug before I get you out of here? Anything you need to let people know about? Yeah. I just want to let them know that I thank them for every one of them that helped and was a part of the shows. And if I didn't say it enough then, I want you to know now it meant the world to me. Well, so, it means thank you, everyone. It means the world to me that you did this, and we'll see what the future brings. But thank you again, brother, and I will definitely be talking to you soon. Okay. Love you, man. Peace out. Love you, brother. That's Brodie Chase. That is Brodie Ray Chase. Thank him for so much for doing this. I mean, how can it doesn't get? I don't know that we'll have a better interview on this program at any point in the future. I think that was just it was more than I expected and better than I could have hoped. And I cannot thank him enough. Thank you to everybody who joined me today and joined in and listened to Brodie. But I know it wasn't for me. I know what y'all only hear from me. So thank y'all for who did pop in. Thanks for everybody who participated in the chat. Drop a like, drop a comment, follow the YouTube channel if you're not already. Of course, I'm Ricky Regal on Facebook. YouTube is Wrestle Radio 860, WRESTLERADIO 860 on YouTube. Twitch is Regalwood 6969. Rumble and Kick, of course, are Regalwood respectively. Before we get out of here, last thing we do on every show, we do the most ridiculous item of the day.
or the week, because we do a weekly show. So we're going to take a quick look at the most ridiculous item of the day, and then we're going to call it a day. And again, thanks so much to everybody who participated. Thank you, Brodie Chase. I don't know if I ever can thank him for what all he's done, and clearly by everybody's reaction day, he's done a lot for a lot of people. So thank God for Brodie Ray Chase. All right, most ridiculous item of the day comes to us from somewhere in Japan. I don't know if it's an indie show or a big show, but it's another ladder spot, which seems to be all the rage these days. So it kind of speaks for itself, and we'll give it a 2 looks so you get the full benefit of it. Ladies match out of Japan. Take a look at this, shall we? Now pay attention. We're going to watch it again. But pay attention. We're going to watch it one last time. But pay attention to the fans. You did all of this. You jumped off the top of that ladder. Looked like you broke yourself in half. And for what? I don't know that the payday was worth it. Watch what happens with the fans at the bottom of when she hits the bottom of the half table, half floor deal here. Ask yourself, is it worth it? One more time. Speaking of a man from a man's perspective of a certain age, that shit hurts. Don't do that. If you don't know how to do the ladder thing, don't do the ladder thing. All right, let's go wrap it up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for staying with me and joined us today. God love Brodie Chase, and God love you, the fans who joined me today, and I appreciate it so much. I'll see you next week where we'll do it again right here on Regalwood Rasslin.